Trigonometry is math in my head that I can't keep out. Got me solving like I'm a math every day. It's like the screen's class stuck on replay.
Hey math lovers, let's go over this Kahoot we did in class. So this is question number 1. How do you factor this? Well, you can use different methods like guess and check, but I've been using the Xbox method. And if you write standard form, notice there's no parentheses here. You'll get A is equal to 1, B is equal to, when you see no number there, it's going to be a 0 or 1. In this case, it is a 1 or negative 1. And then my C value is negative 56. And then A times C, so 1 times negative 56 is negative 56. The B value is negative 1. So we need to think of two numbers. We multiply them to be negative 56, but add to be negative 1. A good strategy is to list out all the factors. What's half of that? That'd be 28, 4 goes in there once, and then 14, 5, 6, and 7. I like to put the larger number on the left side, and then we're just going to find that number. So which one do you think it's going to be from that list? 8 and 7. But one of those has to be negative because we multiply one of those has to be negative, so and you add it to be negative 1, so it's going to be negative 8. Negative 8 times 7 is negative 56. Negative 8 plus 7 is negative 1. Okay, what we've just done there is we basically have split this term, negative 1x, because when you add those two together in red there, it gives negative 1x. They will always go on the bottom left and always goes on the top right. And then the first term goes in the top left, and the last one goes in the bottom right, and we can just factor here. Haven't told you guys my shortcut yet, maybe figured it out. The greatest common factor going in this direction is an x. Going in this direction is a negative 8, x, and positive 7. Remember, you can always check your answer. X times x is x squared. Negative 8 times x is negative 8x, and negative 8 times 7 is negative 56, and x times 7 is positive 7x. So that's why the answer is x plus 7, x minus 8. You can see that here, and that's why that one was the answer. Question number 2, we're going to do the same thing. Put standard form right above it. That way you can help you identify the letters or coefficients. So there's no number there. The reason why it cannot be 0, because 0 times anything turns it to 0. So that has to be a 1. B is negative 18. And C equals 72. Let's go ahead and factor that. A times C is 72. My B value is negative 18. Let's list out all the factors of 72. I always like to start with the number times itself, and then what I do is I just kind of break it down by, on the right side I'm just kind of going up. So 2 times 36, 3 times goes in, 3 goes into 7 twice, and then 12, 3 goes into 12 4 times, 4 goes into 7 once, 32, that goes in 8, 5 does not, 6 does, 6 times goes in once, and then 7, and about 8 times 9. Okay, which one do you think it's going to be? And I see a negative 18 there, so it's got to be 12 and 6. And both of those are going to be negative, because if you multiply negative 12 times negative 6 equals a positive 72, or they're splitting this term right here, so you have to add an x. Negative 12x minus 6x is negative 18x. Those two will always go bottom left, top right. Doesn't matter what order. And then x squared is going to go right here to the top left always. And the c value will always go to the bottom right here. When I say the greatest common factor, if you break them into factors, prime factorizations, what do they have in common here? Use a different color. Well, they have an x in common, so that's what I would write out here. Or let's just say you did this one. This would be negative 12 times x, and this would be negative 12 times negative 6. What do they have in common? They have a negative 12 in common, so you write that out here. And then you can do that in the other direction. Here they have an x in common, and this one they have a negative 6 in common. So notice I have x minus 6, x minus 12, and that is this choice down here, the yellow one. Okay, when solving a quadratic equation in standard form, so standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c, what is the equation to find the vertex? So my hint for this one is vertex ends with the letter x. Do you see this? And so the formula is x equals negative b over 2a. We're going to learn later on that's the beginning of the quadratic formula. And that one would be choice, that's the green one down here. Okay, if the equation is x squared plus 2x minus 8 equals 0, what is a? Well, they're testing you on standard form. So again, that's just easy as a, b, c. So there's no numbers, that's a 1. So a is 1. And that would be choice, the yellow one right here. What are the roots of a quadratic equation? Let's just say this was the coordinate plane, x, y. The roots are where they cross the x-axis. Okay, that's what a root is. It's these right here. Okay, another names for roots are x-intercepts. Those red dots are also called solutions. They'll say what are the solutions to the quadratic equation. X-intercepts, solutions, roots. That's all I can think of right now. And so what you're going to have to do in this problem is factor it. You could solve this by using other methods like graphing, but I think factoring is the easiest one. You just have to learn how to use the Xbox method. So a is 1, oops, b is negative 4, and c is negative 4. So a times c is negative 4, b value is negative 3. My two numbers are going to be 4 and 1, and this will be a negative 4. So negative 4x, 1x, 1x squared, and that is a negative 4. And we just need to take out the greatest common factor, so that'd be x, negative 4, x. And when you think it has nothing in common, most of the time it's a plus 1. And you can multiply and check your answer. So I have x minus 4, x plus 1 equals 0. And then you just set both those equal to 0. Add 4 to both sides, you have x equals 4. Subtract 1, you have x equals negative 1. And so if you had to label it, well, my graph's wrong, but it would be on the other side. It would be negative 1 and a 4. Like, the graph looks like that. So our order pairs, whoa. Our order pairs, you know, this would be negative 1 comma 0 and 4 comma 0. and that would be okay, it's not the blue one because you don't label x equals and then an ordered pair. You would just have like don't have those. Does that make sense? Then the blue would technically be right, but that's why it's wrong, and that's why the answer is x equals -1 and x equals 4. Alright, which equation, in the equation, which way does the parabola open? So identify the a, b, and c. So if you notice how important that's been, identifying these coefficients. And this a value tells us how the parabola opens. If it is a is greater than 0, which is another way of saying positive, positive, that means just like positive people, they smile. It opens up. But if it is less than 0, or we call that really numbers less than 0 or 1, is negative numbers. And what do negative people do? They frown. So this one is negative, therefore it's going to open downwards, which is the blue one. Okay, we talked about what are the roots. So essentially the roots are going to be where it crosses the x-axis, so that is 1 and -1, and that would be the yellow one down here. Okay, this one's gonna be a little bit of work. Where is the vertex? The vertex is the minimum or maximum. So think of this as a roller coaster, and then right here, so that would be the order pair -2, 4. This is our vertex, or it's also called a maximum. So left 2, then up 4. So not this one, left 2, up 4, and it's only this one. The zeros, that's another synonym, is 0 and -4. Which those right there. And then the axis of symmetry, whoops, I meant to do that as red. It goes through the vertex, so it cuts that roller coaster taco in half, and that would be -2, and that's why it's the yellow one. Okay, this one, you'll notice that we have a math operation here, is multiplication. So what you're going to have to do is just distribute 2i to each of those terms. So that would be 2i times I plus, why is it plus? Because 2i is positive out here, times a -3. And all we do is just simplify. I times I is just I squared, right? Because I squared equals I times I. I to the first, same base, you can add the exponents. And then over here, you'll get -6i. But something we need to remember is that, what do pirates say? I is equal to square root of -1. So if you do square root of -1 times the square root of -1, for I squared, right, you have I times I. You basically have, these will cancel, and you're just left with this idea I squared equals -1. You can write that on your formula sheet. So if I write -1 right here, that'll be -2 minus 6i is our answer. And that would be choice A, which is the red one. Okay, what is the standard form of the equation? It's easy as A, B, C. Okay, this is linear. This is slope-intercept form. that was a little bit tricky because this is actually the one on the graphing calculator. It's usually y equals mx plus b. I think this one is a derivative from calculus. Okay, this is the one we wanted. And this one is Pythagorean theorem. Pythag theorem. Okay, this one says find the vertex. So the vertex is going to be right here, this point. So that would be -3. Go left -3, then down -10. So -3 comma -10, which would be the green one. All right, to factor this one, A, B, C. So A times C is -72. My B value is -6. I'm just going to quickly write those out. 9 times 8, 4 times 1, 32, 18, 5, 6. 6 goes in 72 once, and then twice. Any of those match? Yep. Okay, so that one has to be negative. So when you add those equals -6, and you multiply equals -72. And then if I fill this out, remember that's the red one, black goes in the top left, and -9 here. Greatest common factor. If you're not sure, like I'm not sure, you can put a 2x or 4x. I'm gonna put the wrong answer. Because if I put 2x up here, let's see what happens. You see, I can't have -9 times something equals negative. -6 times something equals -9. So what you do is you just go back and switch those. 2x, 4x, and then this will be a +3. That one works. And 4x plus 3, 2x minus 3 is this answer here. Alright, this one already, remember that's the same word as the, so 1 and -3. 1 and -3. Now, those are ordered pairs, right? So you're on the x-axis, so that's 1 comma on the y-axis, you're not going anywhere, the y number line. So -3 comma 0. Axis of symmetry, that's just cutting it in half. That is this blue line. Well, it's between 4 and 6, so that would be 5. So that is in another way of also seeing this, why the answer is x equals. You can have the order pair 5, 0, 5, 6, and you'll notice that all my x values are 5. So x equals 5, which is the yellow. And the last one tells you to simplify. -3 times square root of -1 times square root of -49. What did pirates say? Aye. Okay, so I have square root of -1. Instead of writing that, I'm going to write I. So I have -3. Whoops. Because that's square root of -1 times square root of 49 is square root of -49. So square root of 49 is 7. And they're all multiplication. So that would equal -21i, and that would be choice, the red one. I hope that was helpful. See you guys. Bye.
And today's message is, thou shalt honor the correct order of operations. Honoring the correct order of operations shall make your life in math easier and less complicated. Always make sure to honor the correct order of operations.